Get this with the free Odyssey app and try out that rewind feature. My show on your time. Test it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, Las Vegas. What's going on? Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas. Well, it's bright in my room today. I'm not sure what's up with that, so maybe a little shiny. We'll have to maybe try to adjust that on the break. But very happy to have you with us as we get ready to talk about what was a pretty crazy week in pro wrestling. A lot of, shall we say, unforced errors and crazy things happening in the ring and outside of it. We're going to break it all down for you here with little old me, the Mark Hoke Show. And by the way, we are on KDAWN 101.5 FM, also streaming on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. And if you get that app, you're going to be just, I don't know, tickled pink all day long. It's just going to make you feel joyful. So many great shows on there from KDAWN and all around the world. So make sure you check that out. We're also streaming live on YouTube, X, Facebook. So if you want to join in there and get in the chat box and say hi to us, we'd certainly appreciate that as well. So come on in. The water's, I don't know if it's fine, but you know, it's interesting. It's interesting. But one guy who's super interesting, I love this man. I really do. From Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Let's get him in here right now. He is the effervescent Stu Myrick. What's going on?
Effervescent?
Yeah.
All right, sure. Why not?
Take it.
I'll take it, sure. Why not?
All right.
I see. Yeah. What's up, Mark?
Oh, no, a lot, but yeah, it's been something else this week, Stu. I'll tell you, a lot going on in the world, and a lot of it is affecting pro wrestling, which is pretty amazing. We're going to get into that as we go along. Yeah. But I want to, I couldn't decide even a couple minutes ago which way I wanted to lead, but you know what? I'm going to do it. Let's hit that pipe bomb, shall we? Shall we hit that pipe bomb? For those of you that did not see SmackDown on Friday, John Cena lays out CM Punk on a table, of course, with the Slim Jim logo conveniently in the camera frame facing John Cena, by the way. So you got snapped into a giant Slim Jim CM Punk. Congratulations. And John Cena recreated CM Punk's legendary pipe bomb promo from about 14 years ago. The one that really finished putting Punk on the map. And if you remember, it was a scene where, leading up to that big Money in the Bank match, where John Cena was laid out and Punk started going off about everybody on the planet. John Cena proceeded to eviscerate, and I don't know if, to me, there's any other way to put it. I know some people were picking out little things here and there, but he tore CM Punk apart. That was such a well done promo to me. Now, other than one little spot that I had a problem with, just fabulous. I mean, now I am on the Cena bandwagon for sure. I want Cena to go into Night of Champions and get a 2-minute squash on Punk and get it over with. Stu, what did you think of this CM Punk John Cena interaction with the new pipe bomb?
It was easily the best part of Cena's heel turn so far. I think, look, it was great. It was really good. John Cena did a really good job. I think, though, a lot of people are being, kind of hostage of the moment. It was kind of pretty much what CM Punk did back in 2011. It was pretty good. I'll give it that. I have a problem with it in this respect. He does this promo, ends up getting cheered, pretty much by the whole audience there in what was it, Grand
Rapids.
Grand Rapids. Okay, ends up getting cheered. Now, again, I am very old school. The baby faces should get cheered. The heels should get booed. Cena right now is a heel, but he got even more cheers because of this pipe bomb. How does that affect things? Not only going into Night of Champions next weekend, but going forward to SummerSlam would be the next event after that. It was cute that he mentioned Claudio Castagnoli, the former Cesaro, Nick Nemeth, the former Dolph Ziggler, and Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder. Of course, mentioned them by their government names, for lack of a better term. Interesting that he mentioned an AEW star, a TNA star, and someone that is, he's a free agent. He's not signed with anybody. It was fine. It was good. I just, again, John Cena's trying to get booed. That was not the way to do it.
I don't see, this is where pro wrestling has gotten so tricky. And, I was thinking about this the other day too, that just how much losing kayfabe really has made it so much more difficult for these performers. When you and I were first started watching wrestling, these guys lived their roles. They lived it. Yep. And if you were a bad guy, you hung out with the bad guys, you did bad things. People were going out in the parking lots and getting ready to slash their tires. I mean, we've heard so many stories about people having guns put to them and everything else, the things that happened to Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express. I mean, legendary stuff.
Freebirds up in Dallas, puncturing tires outside the Sportatorium in Dallas. Yeah. And the Sportatorium was not in the best neighborhood in Dallas anyway. So,
yeah. But today, with those roles being blurred, John Cena gets cheered for this. And, while he is the bad guy, once again, he's kind of fallen into the cool bad guy role all of a sudden. And here we go again.
Yep.
But Stu, I didn't get to talk to you about this last week, but CM Punk taking the match in Saudi Arabia after what he said to The Miz a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Can't repeat it on the air. Can't. But it was insinuating that he was selling out and so on and so forth. And it was very bad. But I think that Punk, John called him Mr. TKO in the promo. That was one line that was kind of iffy to me to a point because John did the thing with The Rock. But didn't CM Punk a while back sue WWE and say it was a terrible place, it's horrible, and cut promos in AEW, ripping him every chance he got? And, we remember the MJF one. You're going to be a main eventer on a day one of 4-day pay-per-views. And look, he gets a day one main event and, starts breaking down and crying. But saying, I'm not going to, and you can kind of say that those are situations where, you were saying things to say them to a point. But one, to come back and then to WWE after all you said about him. And then two, to go to Saudi Arabia after you criticized other people for going over there. Punk always had that air of, look, I don't agree with the guy's politics at all. He drives me nuts when he brings it out. We're going to talk about that later in the show with somebody else. But now he goes to Saudi Arabia and it almost feels like he's a sellout. I mean, John said in the promo, you're not a punk, you're a capitalist. And I think that some of this may have unintentionally taken some of the air out of who CM Punk is conceived to be by the fans. Would you agree that that's a possibility?
to a point. Look, the promos he cut in AEW, look, every wrestler cuts promos against the competition wherever they are. That's just part of the game. Okay. So those I don't take too seriously. Criticizing folks, and look, this, WWE's had this deal with Saudi Arabia for years. It is not a desirable one by any stretch because of human rights violations and such as that in Saudi Arabia. And then on top of that, with what happened in the last 48 hours, making it even a little more shaky. Does it take air out of CM Punk? I don't think so, only because WWE fans, and I hate saying this, but there is at least somewhat true. WWE fans, to a point, have short memories. They or maybe it's just they're willing to forgive, I guess, or let it go. And look, he's probably getting a big payday for it.
Huge. I'm sure there's a lot of zeros.
He's probably getting a big payday to do a match that is, 13, 14 years in the making. So I don't look, and the fact that this match is happening in Saudi Arabia, those fans will cheer everything because they do. We've seen it time and time again. So I'm not too worried about Punk's status as far as the fans go or whatever. I think it's, there might be a slight, the match is overshadowing the location to a certain point. I've heard a lot of people, a lot of colleagues say this should be the SummerSlam match. But I think we're all kind of expecting it to be Cody versus Cena. But a lot of people saying it should be Punk and Cena at SummerSlam, not at Night of Champions. Mm-hmm. But I think it's safer to do it in Saudi Arabia, just because the fans will cheer it, regardless of what happens. So I'm not like you. The cool heel, and I had a discussion with somebody a couple weeks ago about this. I talked to him about someone that works in wrestling, and he was telling me that they're getting the reaction. I said, well, no, I mean, that's not, because it's again cheering the heels, and I basically summed it up in they're not reacting to the wrestler, they're reacting to the performance. The performance has kind of superseded your feelings on wrestler X, wrestler Y. And I think that's part of it. Part of it, like you said, nobody wants to be the cool heel. Look, back in the day, the heels got paid more because they couldn't sell merch.
Yeah.
So, that's how they made it up. Nowadays, everybody's selling merch. Heels, faces, you name it.
Yeah, I want a John Cena t-shirt now.
See, again,
I'm all pumped up about it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's now it's heels sell merch. So
yeah,
they can't be flat out bad guys.
And I think that, but I do think that there is some angst towards Punk. And I remember when he accepted the match, and I was looking on social media, and despite what WWE says, there is some reality to it. Not all, but some. And man, I just kept seeing, oh, he's a hypocrite. Oh, he let us down. And I just wonder if Punk didn't hurt himself with this. I mean, we're going to see down the road, but this will be fascinating to watch. I think they're both you're going to have probably a split crowd in Riyadh for that match.
I agree.
And before we go to break, we got a question. Coach Rosie's out there. And by the way, congratulations to his team. He's off the air today because he is playing in a tournament championship. His team down in Arizona beat Bishop Gorman. Shame on you, Coach, beating the Vegas team. What are you doing? But congratulations. But he said you don't think they'll cancel Night of Champions with a pending war. And you've been talking about the 48 hours, what's been going on. And of course, unless you've been living under a rock, the United States dropped some bombs on Iran, blowing up some nuclear facilities over there. And Iran has said, no, we're going to get you Americans wherever you are. And Saudi Arabia is pretty close by. So there may be some concern there about having Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I don't think the Iranians have the guts to do something like that, but it does put a thought in your head. I mean, Stu, do you have any concerns about the security of Night of Champions for everybody?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because look, I'm going to try to make this brief. Look, it's hard. You're going into a region that is just, on the brink, and to do an entertainment, you're basically doing some, an entertainment event. Look, Iran, look, I'm old enough to remember the hostage crisis.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
U.S. has never had great relations with Iran. Would Iran make a strike? I don't know if Iran would. I bet you there's at least one or two groups that could be looking at it.
Yeah. So I expect there's going to be heightened security there for sure. From the time everybody gets on the plane until they get back home. I mean, hopefully WWE will be taking the necessary precautions, but cancel it? Ah, man, I don't know. I wouldn't blame them, to be honest with you. I wouldn't blame them to move the card somewhere else, postpone it a week and take it elsewhere, given what's been going on. I mean, and I'm sure the performers have got to be a little bit concerned too. I'm sure they're not going to say it, but I would imagine they've got to be thinking about this a little bit.
Well, not just the performers, but the crew, ring crew, the production.
Yeah, everybody.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have to put on, when WWE's on the road, there's a lot of people that have to put on that event. And I would say the crew outnumbers the wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned for them just as much as the wrestlers.
Yeah, this will be fascinating to see what WWE does with this over the next week or so. So that takes care of that, at least some of it. But oh boy, Monday Night Raw, he's back. Somebody's next. Are we excited about it? Really? Let's talk about it when we return here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, on the Odyssey app and streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just look up Mark Hoke Show and find us. Come on in and say hi. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What?
Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome to Yoga for Beginners, where we say yes to less stress and no to auto loan payments.
What?
Say yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay. Finance your new or used car with us, or move your current auto loan and don't make any payments for 90 days. That could be close to $4,000 in your pocket. Say no to payments and yes to less stress with One Nevada Credit Union's 90-day no pay auto loans. Visit onenevada.org today. Federally insured by NCUA.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I've always wanted to learn French.
but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you text radio to 64,000. That's radio to 64,000. Text RADIO to 64,000.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Man, it's Sunday morning, and you can tell how much I worked this week because the HIMS ad made me giggle. I don't know why. The HIMS/joy. I don't know. I'm thinking like Ren and Stimpy or something there. Everybody's sitting around the Christmas unpacking their boxes and, woo, this is joyful. Like, yeah, baby, it is. I had to do traffic all day on Fridays, Stu. I had to do the traffic reports.
That's not good.
Oh,
Vegas traffic's no joke.
Jeez.
I mean, it's now look, I am in Austin, Texas. Our traffic is kind of a nightmare too, not to mention they're like South Austin. If you're heading on I-35 from South Austin through San Marcos, San Antonio, that section of I-35 has been in construction for the last 20 years. So, you know, it's kind of it's a bit of a nightmare. I would say, so where I live in the northwest part of Austin. It's an hour longer for me to drive to the Metroplex than it is for me to drive to San Antonio. I would rather drive to the Metroplex. It is a much easier drive.
Wow.
I'll be doing it in 3 weeks.
There you go.
All in.
Yeah, maybe we'll move Night of Champions to Las Vegas. Just bring it out here, stick it in T-Mobile real quick.
They're going to put WrestleManias there for the time being. Why not? Let's move every pay-per-view to Las Vegas.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. Yeah, well, guys, I'll take care of everybody. I promise. Yeah, and by the way,
we've got a couple arenas here that would suit too.
Yeah, there's a few across the country that could possibly be used, but the guys dig Vegas, so good for them. By the way, if you are looking for hotel rooms real quick, I want to remind you that, let's say they move Night of Champions, well, you can go to the travelshark.com/Hoke Show, get some great deals, and the announcement with WrestleMania coming to Las Vegas. Guys, start booking your rooms. Don't wait. And there are some great deals on board for that weekend right now. Man, you go to the Oyo for $82 a night, which is within walking distance of the of Allegiant Stadium. The Golden Nuggets, $78 a night. I mean, there's some awesome deals right now if you jump on them. So head on over to the travelshark.com/Hoke Show and get your hotel rooms taken care of. All right, Monday Night Raw. Couple of huge events happening there. Let's start with the sort of good one, depending on your point of view. He's there. He's back. Gunther's next. It is official. Goldberg will be meeting Gunther in what is Goldberg's retirement match on Saturday night's main event. the same day of AEW All In. Are you excited, Stu? Are you feeling this match? Because I got to be honest with you, I'm not.
Not really. I mean, look, I am a fan of Goldberg. I
am too.
I lived through every one of his, undefeated, the wins during his undefeated streak. I'm a fan of Goldberg. Goldberg, he lives just down the road in San Antonio. His son played football for it was one of the San Antonio schools. But am I? Yes and no. And correct me if I'm wrong. Has WWE officially advertised this as Goldberg's retirement match? Or
Goldberg has said it. Goldberg has said it repeatedly.
Goldberg has said, okay. So that right there kind of lets you know it is likely he's not winning. Not to mention Gunther just won the title back. They're not taking it off him now. Not for a retiring Bill Goldberg. So in that respect, no, because we kind of know the result. And it's not going to be Gunther's going to win. Goldberg will take his bow and then right off to the sunset. So no, I'm not really that, especially when you consider, yes, All in Texas is that afternoon. With Hangman and Mox for the world title at Globe Life Field. So you put that, up against this one. Yeah,
I'd
rather watch Hangman and Mox.
There's no way, and I'm sorry, and I'm a huge Gunther fan. I love Gunther, but there's no way I'm watching a 58-year-old Goldberg in a retirement match against Gunther over All In. And that was kind of the point of all this, that they wanted to set this up to give it All In some competition. But I can't see, if you don't want to spend the money or you just hate AEW, you're definitely going to watch Saturday night's main event. And I'm sure it's going to do fine. But this, I don't know. I just, all the things that we're hearing about Goldberg getting hurt in training, and he's, just doesn't, he's not the old Bill Goldberg, physically not quite there. And you're just hoping that the match goes okay and nothing stupid happens during it, that anybody gets hurt. And I hate to say that, but you look back on that Goldberg Undertaker match where he nearly put Undertaker out a while back, and that was years ago. This is Bill Goldberg at 58, and not that the guy isn't in fantastic shape or anything like that, but it's a lot easier doing it at 38 than it is at 58, Stu.
Well, and on top of that, Goldberg matches are never, if they're smart, they're never more than 5-7 minutes.
Right.
So we're not talking 60-minute Broadway here. It's gonna go quick, and and then onward through the fog. So like I said, I am not excited. Look, and I'll be likely I'll be driving back from Arlington. I'll probably stream the audio while I'm driving, driving down 35 back to Austin. But no, I'm not. No, I'm not excited. Not even in the slightest.
Yeah. It'll be a good farewell for Goldberg, but boy, could you imagine if they put the strap on him? Could you imagine? Oh, wow.
I would know.
It's just it's incomprehensible to me.
When they did it, when he faced Kevin Owens for the Universal title, and Goldberg beat him, and the internet wrestling community lost their ever loving mind. I laughed. I thought it was one of the greatest things ever, just because, just for the sake of the absurdity of it.
Yeah.
So if by some miracle of miracles they do that, oh dear Lord. Just
well,
I mean,
and he's retiring too, so we'll probably have to have a tournament.
Oh, but but they're already going to do that with Cena allegedly. So it's like, okay, hold on, what are you doing? Look, he's not winning the title. I'm sorry, he's not winning the title, and Gunther will get the win, and then it's whoever he faces at SummerSlam.
Well, unfortunately, one person that's not going to be getting a win on Saturday night's main event or anytime soon is Liv Morgan, who took a bad fall in a match against Kairi Sane, dislocated her shoulder, and she is going to be out now for months before she can recover. And you feel so bad for Liv because she has just been red hot. They have her involved in everything. And now she is out. She's going to miss the Evolution pay-per-view, where, of course, that is the pay-per-view coming up also on All In Weekend with all the ladies. And probably, one of your top 3 ladies is going to be missing this. Plus, she's intertwined in so much right now. I can only imagine what everybody was thinking in creative when they found out that she's down. I mean, wow. And apparently the plan was they were going to Shane Raquel Rodriguez were going to defend the tag titles against the Bellas. Well, that's out, even though we are hearing I think that story broke today that they are not vacating the tag titles. So Raquel's going to get a new partner. Could you imagine if that's Roxanne Perez? And which makes sense. And and we're eventually going to get those 2 Spitfires going at it. That'll be fun when she gets back. But what a devastating blow for WWE to lose her.
It is. It really is. That was, and it wasn't really it wasn't even a bad fall. It was just one of those freak things. She's landing with her arms out like this. And it just so happened, it's one of those spots. It was a freak thing. And in the slow-mo, you could see the shoulder dislocate. I mean, it was just awful. She's going to have surgery. She's going to be out for several months. If you believe the reports, I want to say Fightful, but I could be wrong. They basically had scrapped all, they had to tear up all the Evolution, and start from scratch.
Yeah.
Because like you said, she is so intertwined between her, this thing with Dominic, her deal with the Judgment Day, the rivalry with Roxanne, of course, the tag titles. I mean, she is integral to those storylines, and now that's gone out the window, man. And obviously want her to have a full and speedy recovery. But where did they go from here? It would seem kind of logical. If you're not going to vacate the titles, just slide Roxanne in there, have Roxanne and Raquel defend them. I'm kind of on the fence as to you slide Roxanne in there and then take the straps off of them at Evolution. I think it depends on who they face. Is it the Bellas? Is it Natalya and Maxine Dupree? Apparently that's a budding tag team, the Dungeon Dolls, I think they want to call them.
Correct.
So just bad all around. And I guess we will see what happens when Evolution comes up on that Sunday, the 13th.
You know what I do? I go single white female with this thing. I have Roxanne dye her hair blue or blonde and just completely take her spot. Just like creep in, and she's the women's tag champ. She's sliding in on Dom. She's kind of starting to weasel around with Judgment Day, and just bring Liv back and start a war. It works. It would make, I'll tell you, it would make their job a lot easier. It would.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I could see something like that happening. Does that, I guess that would mean Liv comes back and is a babyface now when she comes back, right?
Well, that would be the traditional role.
Yeah. I mean,
because how things are right
now. If Roxanne's going to slide into the Judgment Day are heels, so she's a heel. Though, so yeah, I mean, I guess that would mean Liv is a baby, which means You know,
But
that would be interesting to try to maneuver as well because of the different rivalries with, say, Rhea Ripley or uh, Bailey or anybody else.
just make her a bad baby. You know, like bad Bailey, but a bad baby.
Sure.
Do that. Nicole Garcia in the chat box says Roxanne is going to be the new Liv LOL replacement. There you go, Nicole Garcia. I don't know how we got one of the Bella twins in here.
Hey.
Good for them. Good for Nicole. Good to talk to you again. Oh my God. This what a crazy week on for Monday Night Raw. And I'll tell you what, let's step back and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to start breaking down what's going on in AEW. We got a new champ. We got some political controversy. Oh man. But overall, what was a great night in pro wrestling, I thought. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We'll be right back.
Summer is coming soon, and Air Supply is here to help. If you're looking to upgrade your air conditioning system, you should always get 3 bids. And remember, Air Supply will beat any written quote by 10%, or we'll give you $100 cash on the spot. Call us today at 702-328-0888 or visit airsupply.vegas. At Air Supply, you can always expect a higher level of service. Call 702-328-0888 or visit airsupply.vegas. Terms and conditions apply.
Count the Kicks is an easy way to monitor your baby's well-being, which is why many doctors recommend making this part of your daily routine in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. It's easy to do using the free Count the Kicks app. Pick a time when your baby is active and count each movement as 1 kick until you reach 10. Contact your healthcare provider right away if you notice a change in the strength of your baby's movements or how long it takes to get to 10. Don't delay. Visit the App Store to download Count the Kicks and get started today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQBar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at iqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQBar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and 0 weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping when you text EAT to 64,000. Text EAT to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's EAT to 64,000.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Hey, lady, we're back. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We got Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling in Austin, Texas, joining me here too, and going to be ground zero for AEW in a few weeks as we get ready for AEW All In. still only 3 matches on the card at this point.
4. They added the Casino Gauntlet last night.
I'm sorry, 4.
End of Collision.
Can I not count?
Casino Gauntlet. So now there's 4. But look, Tony Khan, this is what he does. We will probably start to see more matches probably maybe this week.
I would imagine we better get some going here officially pretty soon.
This is Tony's pattern. He waits till about 2-3 weeks out and then starts filling up the card.
Yeah, not that there aren't some obvious matches, and some things happened at AEW Grand Slam Mexico that have set a few things up. And I got to tell you, Stu, some great performances down there. From start to finish, I thought was, 14-man tag match is a little much. Not a lot of room for everybody on the ring apron. I don't think they could fit everybody on there. Everybody was kind of just flying all over the place. But a fun promo in Spanish cut by Hangman Adam Page, which has now gotten all the CMLL fans going crazy and want him down there. The MJF Mystico match. Now, you want to talk about somebody that plays a heel. MJF did something that is so heinous in Mexican wrestling, Lucha Libre, taking off Mystico's mask. And you don't do that there.
Nope.
Unless it's a mask versus mask match or like a hair versus mask or something like that. You don't do that. That is completely against tradition. And MJF takes a DQ loss and then rips his mask off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there like, wow, he's going to have a hard time getting out of the building. And apparently he did get accosted by some fans while he was down there after that happened. But I thought it was an incredible performance by both those guys. It really was. And I think MJF just played the perfect arrogant heel in this. And there's going to be, I think, a lot of people worldwide, they're going to be excited because I would imagine that match is going to happen on All In.
I bet it will, and Mystico will get the win back. Yeah,
you sure?
Max is.
I've
said this forever. Max is a fantastic heel. It's hilarious that, and he's not trying to be cool. He's not trying to, what we were saying about John Cena earlier. He's not trying to do that. He's trying to be a heel, but the fans. The more he heals, the more fans love it. And it doesn't surprise me that he got approached by some fans. The passion down there is for real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, why not bring it up to Arlington? Even the Metroplex is 6-7 hours away from the border. So why not?
Yeah, and really, I just truly thought about that what a smart play by Tony to get your top babyface involved in what is now going to be a heated rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
That close to All In, you're going to get a very interesting crowd because of that. I think you're going to see some tickets sold, and a great job by both those guys. A ton of credit. Like everybody had a mask ready for Mystico. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know where all those masks came from, but I will never forget MJF walking out of there with his mask on. He's draped in all red, white, and blue and stars and stripes, and then he's wearing the Mexican Mystico mask. Wow. Just absolutely perfect work by MJF. We also had a new champion as Mercedes Moné wins the CMLL Women's World Championship. She is now carrying around 6 belts, the Owen Hart belt, and then she's got 5 different championships from AEW and other organizations around the world. And what a year she is having. And now I'm really starting to get into Mercedes. I was a little iffy for a while, but man, this is really cool that she's getting to do this, I think.
It's a good visual for AEW. It's a good visual for Mercedes having the belt. I mean, it's bringing back the thoughts of Ultimo Dragon back in WCW when he had the 9 belts that he would walk down with. It seems apparent. First of all, yes, great that she has all the belts. She's going to face Toni Storm at All In. I am not for changing the title. I think Toni Storm is a fantastic character. I think I would not put that belt on Mercedes. Find some, I don't know if you do DQ because Toni doesn't do DQs very often, but find some way for Toni to go over. The other thing is, I gotta imagine sometime, and I would say in the next couple months, maybe she's got to drop at least one of those titles. Whether it's it could be Rev Pro, she's got, or it could be the TBS title. She's got to drop at least one of them because you see all the rancor, online and such about how she's becoming, she doesn't lose and she's, got creative control, however false that may be. It's getting to that level. And while people are probably appreciating her, there's going to be that segment of the fan base that are going to say, okay, we got to see, you got to bring her down a notch or two.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what Toni decides to do with that match at All In. I lean your way, but it's funny. Our friends at betonline.ag do not.
No,
and they've got Mercedes Moné at a -500, Toni Storm at a +300. So Stu, if you want to drop a little bit of change there, you can go to markhokeshow.com and click on the banner, sign up, and you get that 50% magic bonus up to $1,000, by the way. So you might want to consider doing that. But yeah, it's fascinating that Mercedes could be, and one thing I hate is when somebody's got 2 titles in the same organization, but I wish they would have worked something out that maybe she got schmozzed out of the TBS title, but it is what it is. But I also will never forget that visual when Toni attacked her and all the belts went flying off of her. I mean, I'm sorry, but that was funny. Yeah. That was funny. I'm sitting there looking at her and I'm saying it looked like Sonic the Hedgehog just got nailed in the game and all the rings went flying.
Mm-hmm. I think I saw somewhere somebody did put those in, kind of just, alter the video to show the golden rings flying away. So
yeah, and in the chat box, Nicole Garcia says maybe Mina will cause a distraction for Mercedes like she did on Wednesday. Love both those women, but I'm Toni all the way. So yeah, there's a lot of routes they could use to get out of this.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a bunch of matches with Toni and Mercedes. I think it would be a lot of fun. And especially if there starts being some cracks in the armor where she, loses her Rev Pro title. She loses that title she won in Europe and, and she can't quite get over the top with Toni, so there's some interesting possibilities, let's see if we can bring her back to earth just a little bit. All right. We are getting ready to end our first hour, Stu, and I got to tell you, it's been a fun one, but we're going to be talking more about some things that happened down at AEW Grand Slam Mexico as we, oh man, this thing of Brody King. I just am not happy about it. But we also had somebody make a very special appearance in the Ring of Honor tapings. And we're going to tell you about that. Plus, get ready for the rest of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. And we got fights on American Gladiators. We got lawsuits in AEW. All sorts of wild stuff going on. And we're going to bring it to you in hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. By the way, make sure you check out his podcast. It's awesome. And you can find it on the Odyssey app. So make sure you do that. So we're going to take a break. And when we return, hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show coming up a whole lot more as we keep digging into the world of pro wrestling. So stick around, everybody. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. Like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. Just click all the buttons and have a great time. It's kind of refreshing. It'll make you feel better. I promise. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Get your team outfitted for the Vegas heat. Off-Grid Creations delivers high-quality custom screen printing with a personal touch. Custom company swag is always a cool idea, and we've got hot deals for the hot weather. Whether it's a few t-shirts for an event, band merch, or family reunion gear, we've got you covered. Need a large order for uniforms, sports teams, or clubs? Our team will guide you from design to final product. Call 661-300-1115 or visit off-gridcreations.com. Get your free consultation today.
With the 2 Jewels of Henderson, the Emerald Island Casino, and the Rainbow Club, you've got the best paying slots valley-wide, best video poker valley-wide, and the best food and service you'll find in all of Southern Nevada. The Emerald Island and Rainbow Club casinos, where slot players are treated like royalty and everyone is greeted and treated like family. Great daily specials and parking is always free. Join your friends, family, and neighbors for round-the-clock fun. Think different. Think better. Think Emerald Island and Rainbow Club Casinos, the jewels in downtown Henderson's historic Water Street district, where everyone's a winner.
Hi, this is Manny at Fetchatech, the best plumbing and AC company here in Las Vegas. And I have to tell you that I love my dog, Ollie. And that's why we'll give you 10% off any plumbing or AC repairs if you have a pet in the house. Not kidding. At Fetchatech Air Conditioning and Plumbing, we show up on time, we keep our word, and are as loyal as your favorite dog. So what you waiting for? Call or Google Fetchatech and get an automatic 10% discount on repairs or get a $49 AC tune-up. And as we all know, you can always trust someone who loves dogs. So call Fetchatech. We're doggone good and we're doggone fast. And if you have a pet, you get 10% off plumbing or AC repairs and a $49 tune-up. So call Fetchatech right now at 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetchatech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetchatech and we'll come a-running.
Fetchatech, service that's a freedom part.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
KMXV HD3 Henderson, K260HCS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The U.S. attack launched and completed on Iran's remaining nuclear sites using a strike package of B-2 stealth bombers last night. Fox's Jennifer Griffin is at the Pentagon with details.
Now we understand that those B-2 bombers dropped 12
bunker busters, those 30,000-pound GBU-57 bombs on Fordo and 2 on Natanz. There were 7 B-2 bombers that took off from Whiteman Air Force Base shortly after midnight on Saturday morning at 12:01 a.m. And what was also very interesting was to hear that there was deception involved. There were reports that 6 B-2 bombers were heading west towards Guam. That was all part of the deception.
President Trump, speaking to the country after the strikes last night, said the objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, speaking at a Pentagon briefing this morning, said mission accomplished.
Thanks to President Trump's bold and visionary leadership and his commitment to peace through strength, Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated.
General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, says the 3 sites attacked have effectively been destroyed. He said the Iranians were caught totally by surprise without firing a shot at U.S. aircraft. President Trump has warned of more strikes if peace does not come quickly. Britain's Prime Minister Starmer saying about the strikes, Iran's nuclear program is a grave threat to international security. Iran can never be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon, and the U.S. has taken the action needed to alleviate that threat. Starmer called on Iran to return to the bargaining table and reach a diplomatic solution to end the crisis in the region. America is listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
It's time to take the quiz.
It's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We asked people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
What is the name of the coffee shop in the sitcom Friends?
Mel's Diner.
Central Perk. The answer? Central Perk.
Either way, you can always try again tomorrow. Take the quiz every day at thequiz.fox, then come back here to see how you did.
And thank you for taking the quiz.
You never hear me call myself a journalist. I'm not.
I'm not a journalist.
And a talk show host has opinions, and
I do have an opinion. I'm an opinion journalist. I don't hide and say I'm object. I'm not.
Sean Hannity, weekdays at noon on 101.5 KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Game on, Las Vegas. Let's keep it going. The best of pro wrestling news and entertainment on the Mark Hoke Show. I've got Stu Myrick along for the ride from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Still hooking those horns.
That's McConaughey hook 'em for our Minister of Culture.
There you go. Yeah, we're getting close football season, by the way. I got to start getting ready for my Bison to win another national championship.
10 weeks.
Oh, man.
Texas opens up at Ohio State.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
It's August 31st, I think, is that Saturday. That's going to be a big one.
I don't know if I want you guys to win that game or not. I haven't decided yet. I'm neutral because I don't beating Ohio State as a Penn State guy because I think they're going to beat them this year. You know, having Ohio State undefeated wouldn't hurt.
We'll
no offense to your guys, but
we'll see. If Texas can have close to the defense they had last year, I think Texas is going to be pretty salty.
Probably.
And it was a surprise for the Longhorns how they did in the SEC overall. I think Texas won something like 4 or 5 SEC championships. We've got the national championship in softball and in swimming, I believe. I mean, Texas for the first year in the SEC, I think Texas did pretty well.
Yes, they did. So good work. Good work. Burnt Orange boys. Nice job. And the girls, of course.
Welcome.
All right. We're going to keep talking about AEW Grand Slam Mexico. And before I get off on this tangent that I've been bragging about that I'm going to do for the next, over the last hour, I want to talk a little bit about how AEW treated CMLL as opposed to how WWE treated AAA. Now, if you're not totally familiar with the situation, WWE announced that they purchased AAA, which is the second biggest promotion in Mexico, but back behind CMLL. But they're pretty close. I mean, they've both been around forever. I really thought that this cooperation, which is what AEW is doing with CMLL as opposed to taking it over and everything, I thought AEW did a very nice job spotlighting Lucha Libre wrestling. I thought that they didn't walk into CMLL and take over and have that feeling. And then we have Worlds Collide, where the one thing you remember most is there's a guy flipping around a stuffed iguana, and WWE is looking to try and make money off that. And I'm not putting down the performers or anything. Like Octagon Jr. looked great. I mean, did a good job there, but it just had, and maybe it's because it was in Arena Mexico too, that it just had a different feel to me. It felt more authentic. It felt like it was just a much more festive atmosphere. And I thought the AEW guys really treated the CMLL guys with a lot of respect to them, the fans, and their tradition.
Yeah, now there is a difference. Obviously, you mentioned it. WWE now owns AAA, whereas AEW is a partner with CMLL. The Worlds Collide show was in Los Angeles at the Kia Forum, whereas AEW basically were guests in CMLL's home, as they called it, the Cathedral of Lucha Libre. So there is a difference, but you're right. It was a different feel. It was interesting. There was a report that apparently Tony Khan personally approached the head of CMLL to allow the Beast Mortos to appear. Beast Mortos, it was a AAA wrestler. And
he's also now dating Mercedes, by the way.
Right. But that is a thing where, you think back when the Lucha Brothers were still in AEW, whenever AEW would bring in CMLL guys, Lucha Brothers couldn't be on the show because they were AAA guys. That is a big rivalry. That's like a, serious kind of separation between CMLL and AAA. By the way, CMLL, they're 90 plus years old, whereas AAA has been around since I think the 70s, maybe the 80s. So there is a bit of an age difference. But you're right. AEW had more respect. I think that's because, again, they were basically in CMLL's house. And so you almost had to, because you're basically doing your show in front of the CMLL fans.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show overall, and it's not like Worlds Collide was bad or anything like that. It just
was good.
This just felt really like you got to go to a different world on this. You felt like you stepped into a new promotion that maybe a lot of people hadn't gotten to see before, and really got an education on Lucha Libre. And I think it was overall was a lot of fun, incredibly successful. And I will imagine that both the major American companies will be invading Mexico quite a bit. I'm not going to be shocked.
WWE's announced a house show tour in Mexico. I want to say it's towards the end of July. I think.
What a surprise.
They've already announced it, and I'm gonna look, see if I can find the press release, but I could swear I saw something about it.
Man, AEW, I got it. All right.
Yep, it is. They are going to be at Arena CDMX in Mexico City on Saturday, July 26th, and Arena Monterrey on Sunday, July 27th.
Sounds like fun. But it's amazing how these places didn't exist to WWE until AEW started going there or bringing these guys in from Japan and Mexico and so on. WWE sure changed their tune real quick when they realized there was money to be made. Just saying.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep. So here's my big beef with the show, though.
Okay.
And, I know, Stu, you are politically different than me, so we may have a different take on this. But first off, you know that I did not like when CM Punk was wearing political shirts on AEW. I thought it's a terrible idea. You're alienating people in the fan base. Well, Brody King comes out at Grand Slam Mexico and is wearing an Abolish ICE shirt. That's the immigration gang that are, are border enforcement and so on. And he did it in Mexico too. So he didn't do it on home soil. And, look, you have your right to your opinions, but ICE has removed over 100,000 criminals. There have been so many people, Rachel Morin, Kayla Noble, Lakin Riley, Jocelyn Nungray. That was one down in the area where you're from, Stu. I'm sure you remember that case where that poor girl got raped and thrown in a creek. The takeover in Aurora, Colorado. There's 300,000 kids that are gone from when we let all these people in. And, it's, I understand some positions, but abolishing ICE to me and saying that you should be getting rid of the group of people that are tasked with protecting us. They're taking some really bad people out of this country. And then, you had a couple of goofballs down in Denver that stopped a guy who's a wanted child rapist and was convicted in, he's from El Salvador. His name was Jose Reyes Leon de Ras, who was wanted for child rape in Italy. And people disrupted the surveillance and warned him so he could get out of there. Look, I got kids, man. I have kids. And when I see all these terrible things happening out there, you're going to tell me that you want to get rid of these guys? You just want to get rid of ICE? And he's selling T-shirts. And that is what really, that just chapped me after that. That chapped me. And yes, the proceeds are going to help illegal immigrant families. Oh, they're affected. And it's like, what are you talking about? Stu, you're a veteran. And I drive around veterans all the time when I do my ride share, and I how they need help. There's a big homeless crisis in Las Vegas too. And, I see my daughter's schoolrooms overcrowded. A lot of resources have gone to illegal immigrants. And to say you're going to throw ICE, you want to just abolish ICE. Good luck. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a stupid stance, in my opinion. And, we need to get these people out of our country. They're not supposed to be here. And look, I got sympathy for people that, or just came here looking for a better life. But I mean, Stu, it's funny. We even had something come up here in Las Vegas that the Broadacres Marketplace which is kind of an open air marketplace that's open on the weekends here. They shut down because of the threat of ICE immigration raids. But a lot of people know that part of the problem over there is that they sell fake IDs, they do drug deals, they do all sorts of crazy stuff in that place under the guise of selling things and, doing stuff like that. I think that Brody King was out of line putting that shirt on. I really do. And especially in a time like this, man, I cannot stand what I cannot stand what I saw that day. Now, I know you might have a different take on this, but he shouldn't have done it. And then to go out and fundraise off it too. No.
All right. Well,
it's a lot to take in. I know
it is. All right. This is. I usually do not voice my political stances on whether it's this show, on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, whatever. I did not have a problem with what Brody wore. Do I think ICE needs to be abolished? No, because that agency does have a purpose. It's been around. I think it's not about ICE. It is about the current administration.
Okay, so say that.
And here's the thing: people tend to go to one extreme or the other. And I understand, yes, people who come into this country who, do really bad things, yes, they need to be thrown out. There is the fear, and look, I live in Texas. In fact, I was just down in the Rio Grande Valley a couple weeks ago.
Ground zero.
So I see it. There is a lot of fear. It's not, I think it gets directed at ICE when it should go in a different direction. What CM Punk did, when he was in AEW, I didn't have a problem with that either. I am of the opinion, look, as long as you're not committing crimes, as long as you're being, law-abiding citizens, I really don't care, who you marry, or who you think you should be. I have no problem with that. Just be good to people. That's all I ever want.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that. 100%.
I think there is the fear that in the quest to rid our country of lawless criminals who come into this country, there is the fear that innocent people get roped in as well. And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah,
again, is there a simple solution to it? No. I saw a quote from former President Obama. It was something to the effect of, look, yes, you should enforce the borders, but there's a way to do it humanely and with dignity. And I don't think this administration knows the meaning of the word humane and dignity, quite honestly.
Well, and certainly you're entitled to that opinion. I
live in a state where the governor wants to copy him. Not very happy with the governor either, and I kind of work in state government.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough spot for you. I feel for you, brother. I feel for you.
So I have what you mentioned. It kind of irks back to, if you remember back in the 90s, they wanted Michael Jordan. Every time if Michael Jordan ever voiced something, there were people that said, just shut up and play basketball. Look, these folks have beliefs just like we do. Just because they wrestle in a ring doesn't mean they should shut off their beliefs. I don't root for or against a person because of his beliefs. Now, if they're a bad person, if they've committed crimes, yeah, I don't go for them. But voicing your beliefs, the Constitution does guarantee freedom of speech. and that's for every American, not just the ones that don't compete in sports.
No, and I agree, but I do think that when you're watching entertainment, that you're better off keeping it that way. I mean, you just said you don't talk about politics, and I don't talk about politics much on the show either. I stay away because we're talking about wrestling. But when this crosses, now you see the problem, right? You are taking a real hot button issue right now, and about 55% or more of the country is like, what are you talking about? And when you get into the abolish ICE thing, it's way worse. You're taking too much of a risk there, I think, when you interject like that. I think if you're outside of it, like Denise Salcedo was at some of the No Kings protests, right? Okay, that's she wants to do that, but she
here in
doesn't.
Austin. Had them marching right in front of the Capitol.
And we have them here too in Las Vegas. Trust me, I think we had to get around them on the strip just a little bit.
And let's not, we're not that far removed from. Remember in the NFL there was this whole kneeling during the national anthem and such. And Jerry Jones. And look, I covered a lot of those Cowboys games, and there was always who's kneeling, who's not. And you're right. Yes, I am a veteran. I'm proud to have served in the United States Army.
And thank you for your service.
I served during the latter days of the Cold War. Yes. That was in fact next June be 40 years since I left for basic training. So it's look, I put my hand over my heart during the national anthem and everything, but everybody has a right to do, again, as long as you're not committing a crime, that you do what you do, and that's fine. Again, do I think they should abolish ICE? No. Do I think that there should be a more, I don't want to say subdued, I'll just use President Obama's words, a more humane and dignified way to do this? Yes.
Understood. And, I just think that there's a place and a time, and at a pro wrestling card is not the place or time. It's not. It just, it's frustrating to me because when I turn something on, I want to watch for entertainment. I want to watch to get away. I want to get away from all that stuff. I don't want to think about it for 2 or 3 hours. No,
I
don't.
get it.
So,
but
just
covering sports for 15 years, sometimes life gets in the way.
It does.
You don't want it to. Look, hey, when I'm here lately, when I have my TV on, I'm watching either Letterkenny on Hulu, which I've watched like 100,000 times because I love the show. Pitter patter, let's get at her. I'm watching Hogan's Heroes late at night.
Wow,
it makes me laugh. Yeah, Letterkenny and Hogan's Heroes.
There you go. I'm catching up on Cobra Kai, by the way.
I can never get in Karate Kid. I've tried it, but it just wasn't me.
Oh, see now, Stu, I got to kick you off the show for that one. Shame on you.
I was gonna say, but be careful.
Yeah. Anyway, but I wanted to address the issue because it's a very controversial one, and I just wish that Brody, if he was selling T-shirts and doing things, would do it for maybe some other causes that
but it kind of, to help causes, to help immigrants. Kind of fits it.
Fair enough. All right. So there we go. Hey, a fun discussion. And look, Stu and I didn't kill each other. Isn't that great?
There was a time when people who had, opposing views could talk about it and not, without shouting.
Yeah. Or, pepper spray or bashing each other over the head.
I miss those days.
I do too. All right, so there we go. We got through that. Oh man, a whole lot else going on in pro wrestling, but we got to talk about the Dragon. The Dragon showed up at CMLL 2. What does this mean? We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show. Stick around.
With the two jewels of Henderson, the Emerald Island Casino and the Rainbow Club, you've got the best paying slots valley-wide, best video poker valley-wide, and the best food and service you'll find in all of Southern Nevada. The Emerald Island and Rainbow Club casinos, where slot players are treated like royalty and everyone is greeted and treated like family. Great daily specials and parking is always free. Join your friends, family, and neighbors for round-the-clock fun. Think different, think better. Think Emerald Island and Rainbow Club casinos, the jewels in downtown Henderson's historic Water Street district, where everyone's a winner.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. 4Runner's an off-road icon. Tundra hauls it all with its tenacious twin-turbo engine. And Tacoma takes adventures straight to the top. Want to ride with sizzling hot style and efficiency? The all-hybrid Camry is revving and ready. Visit Toyota.com or your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQBar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQBar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping when you text EAT to 64,000. Text EAT to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's EAT to 64,000.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Come on, Steve Myrick, put your hands in the air like you just don't care. It's the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM.
We don't do
Las
that.
Vegas. What?
We don't do that.
What?
I was looking at pictures of Aruba because I'm gonna be there in 2 months.
Well, you can put your hands in the air there.
No, I'm gonna be busy on the beach.
All right, whatever.
And hopefully mingling with flamingos. So there's an island, apparently the Renaissance Hotel in Aruba. They have this island. You can get day passes and you can hang out with flamingos.
Yeah. I've been at the Renaissance Hotel in Aruba.
I'm gonna try to do that.
Oh, what a great day it is. And I gotta tell you, the water in Aruba, it's like heaven, man.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful place. So
2 months. I'll be there.
Lucky you. I mean, I should go with you. I could use a vacation. Would that be bad? Yeah.
You just can't go with me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we hinted that someone made a return at the Ring of Honor tapings down at CMLL. That man was Bryan Danielson, who was involved in a segment at the end of the show. did take a bump. He did his kick and, had to fall down, but he still says his neck is completely screwed up. But, man, does that raise the hope? Do you think that maybe, and especially I'm trying not to dream too big, Stu. I'm really not. But we just added a casino gauntlet match to this thing at All In. Could it possibly happen? Could we see the American Dragon back at AEW All In?
So if you believe the talk around the campfire, multiple reports, Fightful, Wrestling Observer, PW Insider, you name it, Bryan Danielson is frequently backstage at AEW. He's helping with the creative. And that was a cool moment. He hit the psycho knee and on I think it was on Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
And Shane's a friend. So yeah, it was a great moment. Does he show up in the Casino Gauntlet? I don't think so. Now, will he make an appearance at All In? I bet he will. But I don't think it'll be in the Casino Gauntlet. I think it might have to do with the main event. I think it might have to do with the Hangman and Mox.
Oh, an Avengers scenario.
I get the feeling. I've said before, I think Tony Khan wants the very same moment that Cody Rhodes got at WrestleMania 40.
Agreed.
And I think if you think back to that match with Cody and Roman, all the people coming down, and they end up, especially Undertaker choke slamming The Rock. I think we're gonna get something similar during Hangman and Mox. I think we're gonna see folks coming down to mitigate the Death Riders. I think Bryan Danielson could be a part of it. I think Sting could be a part of it.
Wow.
Let's not forget Sting lives in Dallas. He lives in the Dallas area. So I think we might get to see Sting, which I would love because Sting is among my favorites. By the way, have you seen him with the beard yet?
Yes.
Oh my God. So his son Garrett has been training at the Rhodes Wrestling Academy with Dustin. And so I'll see Garrett every now and again. By the way, congratulations, Garrett and JL, real name Caitlin. They are going to be parents soon. I think she said she's, I want to say 3 months pregnant. So
a grand sting.
We're going to get a grand sting. You're absolutely right. But Garrett was telling me about the beard, and especially when he puts on, because he's doing this final year of appearances with the face paint, and the face paint includes the beard, and he's painting the beard so it looks so weird, with the face paint and the beard and everything. But yeah, I get a feeling that we're going to have something like that at the end of All In.
Well, and that's kind of what I've been saying about this whole Death Riders storyline, is that they're just trying to, Mox and the guys were just trying to animate and raise the level of everybody else in AEW. And it would almost be the perfect ending to it to just have everybody come out and just beat the hell out of those guys.
Yes.
And Hangman wins the title. I mean, that would wrap the storyline up properly. But wouldn't it be fun if Danielson turned on Hangman?
No. Do not do that.
I'm always for a fun little twisty heel turn. I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, what do you make of this thing with Chris Statlander and Mox?
I don't know.
Are they trying to tease? It feels like they're teasing Statlander joining the Death Riders, which I've been saying almost since October. The Death Riders need to be disbanded. The perfect time to do it would be in 3 weeks at All In. So what are we doing with Statlander? I really hope we're not going to see the Death Riders much after All In, if at all. So I don't know if Statlander just becomes another. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like the storyline. I'm not, and I don't know. I'm not crazy about Statlander as a heel. I wasn't crazy about her when she was Stokely Hathaway. It just didn't jive.
Hey, Chris is very interesting. I interviewed Chris right after she had done that heel turn and punched Orange Cassidy, and I've also talked to her at some of the scrums too when she was being a babyface. She's a fascinating individual, and she's very stoic and kind of plays the line a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not sure where that's going to go, Stu. I really have no idea, but we all know how good she is in the ring. So hopefully she's going to get back on track and get in the title picture here pretty shortly.
And you just mentioned being stoic. It's kind of interesting because she's got a great personality.
Yeah, she's fun, no doubt about it. But yeah, she is one tough son of a gun. So we'll see how things go with Chris Statlander. And you did mention the Casino Gauntlet match at All In. You don't suppose that if it's for a title shot that it could get cashed in that night? You don't suppose?
It better not be.
Oh,
don't ruin the moment, Tony.
Yep. We don't know what that moment is yet. We think we know.
It better be. Kind of funny you mentioned that return. You didn't mention the return last night on Collision.
I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Kota Ibushi.
Oh, Ibushi back, yeah.
Yeah, it was great to see Ibushi. Man, he looked cut too. He looked stacked. I hope he's in good shape. I hope he's in good health. I hope we can see him in the ring more. It sounds like apparently I think he wants a match Wednesday night on Dynamite. Probably be against somebody from the Don Callis family, which I think that would be fantastic. I've gotten to meet Kota a few times. I saw him. It was at Supercard of Honor in 2018. He was there in New Orleans, and then saw him again when the G1 had their starting event in Dallas back in 2019. Got to see him there. So I'm all in on seeing Kota Ibushi getting back in the ring.
Yeah, that's great news. By the way, a couple comments in the chat box from the last segment. Nicole Garcia said, "Thank you." Got the name wrong a little bit.
Not the first time I've been called Steve, but that's okay.
That's okay. Thank you, Steve Myrick. And she also said about Bryan Danielson, yes. I say he goes heel. No. He should bring Bree with him. Bree should blow off WWE. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun if Nikki's back and Bree can't come to a deal and
unless I'm mistaken, I think don't they have Legends deals?
I don't know.
Her and Nikki.
That's a good question.
I think.
I don't know. I don't know. I just think that would be funny as hell. Also, by the way, wanted to get into this Jon Moxley lawsuit thing a little bit while we got a couple of minutes. If you did not hear this story, this is interesting because I watched the clip and I don't know, but AEW and Jon Moxley have been sued for negligence, civil assault, and battery by a production crew member. This happened on a Dynamite in 2023 where Mox was just kind of being a maniac outside the ring and shoved a camera guy down to the ground. And this guy has said that he has had all sorts of physical issues, spinal stuff, the whole thing. And let's see. And he is, he took an unplanned fall as a result of being shoved, and says that Moxley had a history of disciplinary issues before this incident involving other people under AEW's employee agency and or contractual relationship. Stu, did you see the clip? And if you did, are you buying it?
No. I covered this on my show this past week. The fact that we waited 2 years to file a lawsuit says something. Now, look, maybe he was dealing with the injuries. I don't know. B, it didn't look like, I don't know. It didn't look like that much of a shove. I don't, look, that's, I don't think this lawsuit makes it to court. I think they're going to find a way to settle out of court. But yeah, I don't know. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I didn't think it seemed like that much of a dangerous fall either. I mean, Mox shoved him and he fell backwards. He didn't hit anything. He just hit the mat. It just, and look, I don't know what the guy's doctor's schedule is looking like, or, seen his x-rays or anything along those lines, but it didn't look terrible. And I agree with you. I think 2 years to wait to file this finally. I mean, what was he doing? Sitting around and calling Tony Khan every week and saying, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And waited. And the attorney waited 2 years to file a suit. I don't know, man. I don't know, but thought that was interesting to bring that up. But Mox, I don't know. I think Mox should be in the clear, but they'll probably give him a check and send him away. That's usually how it works. All right, we've got one more segment to go. And we're going to talk a little bit about some more WWE stuff, including we're getting ready to get to our finals for King and Queen of the Ring. Still a couple matches to go to get there. And we also have WWE giving American Gladiators and the Happy Gilmore 2 some issues. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Manny at Fetch-A-Tech, the best plumbing and AC company here in Las Vegas. And I have to tell you that I love my dog, Ollie. And that's why we'll give you 10% off any plumbing or AC repairs if you have a pet in the house. Not kidding. At Fetch-A-Tech Air Conditioning and Plumbing, we show up on time, we keep our word, and are as loyal as your favorite dog. So what you waiting for? Call or Google Fetch-A-Tech and get an automatic 10% discount on repairs or get a $49 AC tune-up. And as we all know, you can always trust someone who loves dogs. So call Fetch-A-Tech. We're doggone good and we're doggone fast. And if you have a pet, you get 10% off plumbing or AC repairs and a $49 tune-up. So call Fetch-A-Tech right now at 702-509-2000 or just Google Fetch-A-Tech. That's 702-509-2000 or Google Fetch-A-Tech and we'll come a-running.
Fetch-A-Tech, service that's a freedom part.
Come back for seconds. Las Vegas Restaurant Week is extended through Friday, June 20th. Devour delicious prix-fixe meals from some of our city's finest restaurants at amazing prices. And this is great food for a good cause, helping 3 Square Food Bank provide food for our community. Hey, giving is always in good taste. To see what's for dinner now through June 20th, visit restaurantweeklv.org.
Hey, Chuck, what does it cost to apply for a signature loan at DLC?
It's 100% free to apply for a loan. There's no application fees, no doc fees, no origination fees, no fee fees, nothing. Not even prepayment fees. On top of paying back your principal, of course, the only thing we charge is interest at Dollar Loan Center, and only exactly for how long you keep the loan out.
Even if I apply just to see how much I qualify for?
Exactly, and we encourage that. Your interest accrues daily instead of compounding weekly, so it gives you the freedom to control your own payoff date.
Thanks, Chuck. Dollar Loan Center has over 60 locations, or you can go to don'tbebroke.com and get fully funded from the comfort of your smartphone. New customers enjoy 1 week free interest, and you can get up to $5,000 in minutes.
Hi, I'm Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy. At 15, I was homeless, alone, and sleeping in my car, wondering where my next meal would come from, an experience no child should ever endure. Through the generosity of thoughtful people like you, I got through it. Now, I've made it my mission to help children facing those same struggles. Just $1 per paycheck can change a child's life forever. Visit justoneforone.org. Make a difference today. Sponsored by Aaron Taylor, the real estate guy, in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Hey, everybody. What's happening? I'm just messing around in the live stream, everybody. By the way, if you haven't gotten subscribed to us on YouTube, great place to hop on board, and you can get in the chat box, say hi, fire comments at us. We love to interact with our listeners and fans, so please do so. It's awesome. We have a couple more matches left in this King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Randy Orton is going to be taking on either Jey Uso or Cody Rhodes. Stu, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Cody just because I think Cody's going to end up as King of the Ring.
All right. Other side of the bracket, Asuka is through, gets the win on Alexa Bliss. So her comeback is off to a blazing start. She will take on the winner of Jade Cargill and Roxanne Perez. Who you got in that match, and who's winning this tournament, Stu?
That one's a little tougher. I think most everybody was expecting Jade to win. With Asuka back, do you pin Asuka? I'm gonna stick with Jade, just for that's what's been going, but it would not totally shock me if Roxanne makes it through the finals and then Asuka pins Roxanne.
Yeah, I think Asuka's going to win this whole thing. I think they're setting up Asuka and Io Sky because we've got Naomi is focusing her Money in the Bank efforts on Tiffany Stratton. So I think we're going to be headed the other way with that. So that'd be a lot of fun, man. Io and Asuka again. Woo! Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, WWE has been doing some PR things that have been questionable lately, to say the least. It's been a rough road since WrestleMania, and now curious to get everyone's thoughts on this. As first, we are hearing that WWE was mad that 2 AEW stars were going to be on American Gladiators, which The Miz is hosting, and there are a bunch of WWE wrestlers on the team for American Gladiators, but Wardlow and Camille are on there, and apparently WWE complained. It has not gone anywhere, but I don't know. They just didn't want the intermingling. And then we also saw this week that, with Happy Gilmore 2 coming out, which I'm pretty excited to see that one. Any trailers that were sent to WWE had to cut out MJF. Stu, is this good business, or is this WWE being petty on these two things?
Both. It's look, I would probably lean to a little more towards the petty thing. It's silly, but WWE is going to WWE. They've done this forever. So does it shock me? No, but it is kind of silly. But all right, whatever. By the way, Fightful Select is reporting that they've reached out to WWE reps in an official capacity, going, regarding what, Night of Champions, with what's happening in that region. WWE talent are currently set to travel out midweek via a charter plane that would take them to Riyadh. They do mention, this is not just Night of Champions. They're going to do SmackDown the day before in Riyadh. At least here, quote, at least in Saudi Arabia, those around the event are preparing as if the event is happening. One source working on the event called it, quote, full steam ahead. As of Sunday afternoon locally, that one source, speaking on a matter of opinion, didn't believe it would be postponed or canceled and thought there was too much money at stake with the upcoming Royal Rumble being there. So take that for what it's worth.
All right. So there you go. No cancellation of Night of Champions as of now. TNA announced their Slammiversary main event, Stu, and Joe Hendry, despite that loss that he took to Frankie Kazarian, is going to get another shot at Trick Williams on Sunday, July 20th. Hendry's contract's starting to go up. Does Joe get this belt back to TNA or whatever this is now? I don't know. I think the lines are a little blurred, but Joe Hendry taking on Trick Williams.
That is a good question. Yeah, and you're right. The lines are starting to get a little blurred. It's, with all the intermingling. That would be what? So that would give Trick Williams 2 months with the TNA World Title. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Trick Williams retains.
Well, see, and that's why part of me doesn't like TNA being so tight with WWE, because Joe's contract is going to be up and he's going to be gone. But the thing is, he can go back. I mean, WWE released Cedric Alexander and he's back in TNA, so he could end up on WWE TV again.
Yeah.
It's just, that whole thing is just bizarre. I don't know, but I hope Joe gets another quick run with the title before he disappears. I think that'd be all right. And get the NXT troupe out of there. Let's see what else we got. Oh, this was pretty funny, by the way. Well, this one wasn't. Bubba the Love Sponge, who has been just a boil on Hulk Hogan's buttocks, put out the news that Hulk Hogan was on his deathbed. That's why he's in the hospital. All the family got called. Turned out totally bogus. He was just getting some work done from that neck surgery that he had. But should Bubba the Love Sponge just go away? Aren't we done with this guy now?
It would not. It wouldn't. It would make me lose any sleep if both of them could go away. But it's silly. Well, it's not silly. Bubba's upset because he thinks Hulk cheated on his wife cheated on him with Hulk or whatever. It's drama for the sake of drama. And honestly, I couldn't care less.
Man, you don't go around saying a guy's on his deathbed, though. That's not cool.
That's not cool.
That's not cool.
And there are problems with that. There are big problems with that. I remember this was back right after the whole Sandusky thing, where it got reported Joe Paterno had passed away and he hadn't yet. And it was from a reputable source. And everybody went, no, he's still alive. That's not a good thing to do. And I think but considering who we're talking about here, it doesn't completely surprise me.
Yeah, would agree. Now, Matt Cardona, by the way, last week on X, and I didn't get to this, but had an interesting suggestion because, Stu, are you a Spaceballs fan?
Oh, love it.
One of the great comedies of all time. Spaceballs is amazing. I mean, I could sit here and do Spaceballs lines for 2 hours, guaranteed. I mean, I only watched that movie about 100 times, plus I was working in a theater when it came out. But Matt Cardona had a suggestion of who should play Barf, the dog,
right.
the Mog,
the
half man, half dog. In
John
the sequel,
Candy's not with us anymore, so yeah.
Would you agree with the casting of Otis as
Barf? That could be interesting. I mean, yeah. I don't know how many acting chops Otis has, but it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world.
He's a funny dude.
It's hard to see anybody but John Candy in that role. So how they approach that, maybe they have it's Barf Jr. Have somebody play Barf Jr.
A little Barf.
Yeah. Why not?
Oh my God.
Which, you say little Barf, and this is sad, but the first thing that comes to mind is Peter Dinklage.
Oh,
have him be Barf.
Oh God.
I don't. I know. I'm ashamed of myself.
And don't be ashamed. It's funny. I'm just cringing because it's that kind of joke. Very good. Well, before we get out, want to give a quick congratulations. Didn't get to say this last week either to Maya Lesnar, Brock Lesnar's daughter. Won the NCAA Outdoor Shot Put Championship. 6-time Mountain West champion. I think she won indoor once or twice. but she won the outdoor shot put championship, held on by about a half a foot, but nailed it on her first throw and then just enjoyed the show. So congratulations to Maya Lesnar for winning the NCAA shot put championship. And also congratulations. We talked about Rob Van Dam and Katie Holmes last week, or Katie Forbes last week having a baby. Well, guess what? There's not one. There's two. They got a tag team. Congratulations to Rob and Katie as they'll be running twins around Las Vegas. That's going to do it. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Make sure you check out his show. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's incredible. You can find it on the Odyssey app where we are as well. So AUDACY. Guys, we will see you next week on The Mark Hoke Show. It's best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. See you next time, Stu. Thank you. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.